Hi, welcome to our tutorials on the BBall Index Leaderboards Tool. This is a tool with 5 tabs, and for this first video, we are going to cover the Leaderboards tab. Now, this tab is the go-to place if you want to go find the best players or the worst players in any specific metric or combination of metrics. If you want to pull how a specific team is doing or look at a player within the context of their jobs on offense or defense or whatever it happens to be, this is the place to do it. Running any sort of specific queries, putting on a bunch of filters, this is that place to go. What you're able to do with this tool is pick from 1 to 5 metrics up here at the top left under the metrics to compare section. If you ever want to reset your selections, you can hit the reset metrics button. Our default populated metrics are our LeBron wins above replacement, and then LeBron, LeBron, LeBron. So our impact metrics, which you can read about on our glossary and LeBron introduction page. But within here, you can pick from any of several hundred stats, really. There's a lot that you can look at with this. And why don't we take a look at, LeBron, see or you know what, let's look at the matchup difficulty and defensive impact of players. Now, you can put on minute filters, season filters. Let's say we only want to look at this season, only at players with 1,000 or more minutes. And then we can unhide the rest of our filters here. There's a lot that you can use between positions, advanced positions, handedness, our offensive roles. You can select individual ones, select all, deselect. Defensive roles, same deal. You can take a look at specific teams that you want to select, and you can reset the team selections with that button there. You're also able to filter by the player's age for that season, their weight, their height, their experience. If we only want to look at rookies, that's something that we're able to do. And in addition to this, you're able to select the team they'll be playing on this upcoming season. And once next season starts, this will probably go away because we won't need it. But during the off season, it's really great to be able to take a look just at free agents and see, for our team, we need shooting. Which of those free agents that are available have shooting? The last thing here is you're able to pick from any of our metrics, again, the same list, and say, all right, well, I only want to look at players who maybe have a ball dominance of 34% or whatever it happens to be. You can really set this up however you'd like to apply one additional filter to what you're sorting down on. Once you have those filters in place, you can run your query, and what you'll see is from the 1 to 5 columns that you've chosen, they'll be off at the right. And then we have demographic information over here on the left. You can see the season, the player's age, name, team or teams, minutes for that year, their position, and then their offensive and defensive roles. You'll note that I'll note that the sorting for the results will be based on the first metric selected. If you want to sort any other columns, you just have to click on them, and you can do so. We can sort on minutes, whatever we'd like to do. Now, we can also set additional filters once we've already run this. Now, you can sort by, or you can filter by minutes up at the top, but maybe once we've already run it, we want to do an additional selection there. So we can do that, and then if we want to clear it, we hit the X. We can do it by teams. If we only want to look at the Celtics players, perhaps, we can clear that out. So you have options there. By default, we display 25 values. If you'd like to see more, you can navigate to other pages, not other pages, but other lists, the second, third, fourth list of players, or you can change how many players are being shown at any given time. If what's currently displayed is something you'd like to grab and tweet out, share with a friend, send it to a team, send it to a player, whatever it is, you can hit our screenshot button and it'll download what you're currently seeing. So it'd be these top 25 players. It'll let you know, hey, these values were pulled from BBall Index as of this date. In addition to pulling just the values, we're also able to display percentiles or grades. Percentiles show the percentage of a league, percentage of the database that the player is higher than. So for Rudy Gobert, his LeBron value is higher than 99.8% of players in our database. And that's thousands and thousands of guys from the 2013-2014 season up until this most recent year. So we can see values displayed this way, and it'd be really easy to say, all right, well, who are the guys in the 90th percentile or better in both metrics, and you can do something like that. You can also grab grades, letter grades, just American schooling system stuff, A+, A, B, C, D, all of that. Whenever there are players with a grade that's tied, you're going to see them display alphabetically. So Al Horford, he wasn't the first player when we went by values, but because a lot of guys have A+, he shows up first, followed by the other guys with A's in their names, then B, C, D, E. So keep that in mind. Now, these are static grades, static percentiles. Those compare versus all players in our database. If we want to use our dynamic grades or dynamic percentiles, what those will do is they'll compare only among players within your filtered group. So if I put static grades on, it'll be against everybody in the database. If I put dynamic grades on, it's only going to be among players with 1,000 or more minutes this most recent season. So that's going to result in fewer A+. This can be a good way to say, all right, well, let's take a look at among guys this year, or among rotation players this year, or among rotation centers this year. How are they doing in a specific area? Because some metrics, like rim protection, skew towards centers, power forwards. Center who's an okay rim protector among their own group may still end up with a really good grade versus all players because you're comparing them to low minute guys, point guards, shooting guards, and so forth. So you can use those dynamic percentiles and grades to basically change the comparison group that results in the calculations. And another thing we're able to do here is if we wanted to only look at a couple specific players, you can hit filter by players rather than custom. And we can say we only want to look at LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, perhaps. And we can run our query and it'll pull just those 3 players. This is a good way. You can select up to 10 players this way. It's a great way to filter by a specific group if it's not something you can do through, just the Lakers or, Lakers guards or something like that. You can also use our search functionality and take a look at LeBron and he'll pop up. This is not case sensitive, as you see, so that makes it nice and easy. You can also take a look. If I only want to look at helpers on the defensive end, you can, without doing it here or doing it up here, you can also search for anything in any of these columns, really. So that is how to search using our Leaderboards tool, how to filter down, how to display various outputs, how to take screenshots, and, how to navigate through the results. One last thing that's good to add before we get going is if you've pulled this list, let's go back to values. If we pull this list and we want to take a look at these players' performance on a year-over-year basis, what we can do is click on one of them, and you'll see this pop up. It'll only appear the first time. It'll say Rudy Gobert selected. Please go to player comparison or year-over-year tabs to compare. This message will not display again. So first time we clicked, it did display. These next times it hasn't, but we've selected Gobert, Horford, Green, and Turner. Now, if we go to the year-over-year tool, you see those names already pre-populated. Or the player comparison tool, those names already pre-populated in certain situations. So that is a really good way to grab results from here as you're sorting through and say, oh, I want that one, I want this one. And then you can go on and take a look at them in the year-over-year player comparison tool. So that is all for now. We'll be back next to review the year-over-year tool and how to utilize that.